What's up everyone, I'm Toast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some crazy battles submitted to the channel by the current Battle of Spice World Champion, Rob Digiov, who is running a level 50 Abra in the Psychic Cup. Now for those of you that don't know, a Great League Abra has a higher attack stat than even Alakazam and Kadabra, making it the second highest attack weighted Pokemon in the entire cup, just behind Deoxys attack. But the major difference is that the fast move, Charge Beam, absolutely sucks. It does however have access to Shadow Ball and Signal Beam, giving it the tools to potentially one-shot basically anything in the meta. He's pairing it with Galarian Slowking, which unfortunately is running Future Sight instead of Shadow Ball because he ran out of TMs, and once again you'll get to see some more Shadow Xatu in action. These battles were done when Niantic accidentally reverted all the seasonal moveset changes, so Aerial Ace cost 45 energy again, making Xatu a little bit worse, but hopefully it didn't impact too many of these battles. With that being said, let's just get straight into the question of the day. Which unevolved Pokemon would you like to see get a moveset update in the future? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead into a Victini, so this is a positive matchup for us even when we aren't running Shadow Ball, because Surf can hit for super effective damage. Personally, I'd prefer to see us at least farm up to the Shadow Ball, but we grab the shield anyways with the Surf, and we are going to no-shield the first charge move coming from the Victini. V-Create does a ton of damage, but they won't be able to quick attack farm us down, so they go for a second V-Create here, quad debuffing their defense, and we're happy to let the Slowking go down. We come in with the Xatu, the opponent comes in with a Galarian Rapidash, and we do unfortunately lose the CMP tie here, so we're going to use a shield here. They go for a Body Slam bait. We're now going to fire off an Ominous Wind, and this is super effective. It doesn't do that much damage, it wouldn't quite take them out there, but they do put up the shield, and they're going to go for another charge move here, throwing just before we make it to the next move. They go for a Body Slam bait here, forcing them to throw another charge move, as we would have barely made it to an Aerial Ace or an Ominous Wind to take them out. But now it's time for Abra to shine in this matchup. They throw on alignment here, we get a full charge beam in for free as they go for a Mega Horn. They swap back into Victini. We're going to go for a Shadow Ball here, and this will easily be enough damage to take out the Victini. Now they come in with Malamar, but that's good because we've got Signal Beam as well. We barely outpace them to the foul play. Signal Beam one-shots the Malamar, and we're able to Charge Beam, farm down the Rapidash, and take that game. Into the next game, we see Slowking into Malamar. Now, not a good matchup for us here, and of course, we do have that Signal Beam on the Abra, but typically that is an awful matchup, so we're just going to stay in this matchup, let the first move go through. Foul play, going to do a lot of damage here, but we're now going to fire off a Surf straight away, and Surf will be grabbing a shield from the opponent, so here, we will actually make it to another Surf, and if the opponent goes for a farm down, potentially we might make it to a third Surf in this matchup. Let's see, it's going to be close, but we do get to that third Surf, and this Surf will just be taking out the Malamar. So we actually grabbed a shield advantage and one switch advantage there up against a Malamar because the opponent tried to go for a very greedy farm down. Now here we're going to go for the Aerial Ace into this Victini coming in. Aerial Ace grabs the shield from the opponent. And at this point, are we going to put it all on the Abra once again to sweep this game here? We're going to come in with the Abra. They go for the second V-Create straight away. That means they will quad debuff their defense. That Charge Beam would have done a ton of damage. They now come in with the Galarian Slowking. We can go straight for a Shadow Ball, and Shadow Ball will be one-shotting the Slowking. And now we should be able to barely make it to a Shadow Ball before they get the quick attack farm down. And this is obviously going to be overkill, but Shadow Ball will be taking out the Victini, and we take that game. So going into the next game, we see Slowking into a Bruxish, so not a great lead for us here, but we can almost definitely grab a shield, even though we're not running Shadow Ball, because if they're running a Bite Bruxish in the lead, it's very likely that they are going to use their shields. So we go for the Surf, grabbing the shield, and now we swap into our Shadow Xatu. We are going to shield up the Psychic Fangs there, and the opponent comes in with a Water Gun Slowbro, so this opponent clearly doesn't like Victini here, as we've seen two Water and Psychic types so far. We go for the Ominous Wind, it barely doesn't take them out there, and we are actually going to let the Xatu go down here. And we are going to come in with the Galarian Slowking here, go for the Hex farm down, and let's see, the opponent comes in with the Bruxish once again. We're going to go for that Surf, and this should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. Actually, no, they let it go down, but they've got Galarian Rapidash in the back, and they will very comfortably outpace us to two charge moves here. We're going to shield the first one. It's a Body Slam bait, which is unfortunate. We're now going to full send the Shadow Ball here, and Shadow Ball actually takes out the Rapidash there. The opponent did not respect the damage there. obviously not quite sure what Abra has as its charge moves, and we're able to take that game when we really shouldn't have. But into the next game, we see a Alolan Raichu. The opponent swaps there, trying to catch a Surf there. Bit interesting. Personally, it would have made more sense to go for a Wild Charge and then dip, but here we see the Cresselia coming in. We do eventually swap into our Xatu here, and Moonblast is going to do a lot of damage, but these Psycho Cuts are resisted. They will not be able to farm us down. So now we're going to go for an Ominous Wind here, and Ominous Wind barely doesn't take out the Cresselia. You can see how bad of a move Ominous Wind is, and Grass Knot actually takes us out, so that's really unfortunate. We do lose switch advantage, but we do want to preserve our shields because Abra definitely needs shields to do well in this meta. We're going to go for a Surf up against the Raichu, and we grab a shield from the opponent. We're actually going to let this move go through as well, as the opponent goes for a Thunder Punch bait, which we do tank very comfortably, and we can make it to another Surf. So this Surf should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent, and it does exactly that. Now we swap into Abra. The opponent has to throw their energy here, and they are going to go straight for the Wild Charge, and then they swap into Victini. Personally, I would have liked to see us overfarm a bit because we can win the CMP tie up against that Alolan Raichu, but unfortunately we can't bank 2 Shadow Balls either, so yeah, we do get Volt Switch farm down both against the Abra and the Slowking. That was really unfortunate, but we do lose that game. Into the next game, we see some incredible spice from the opponent as they come in with an XL Smoochum. I actually don't know if this is fully XL, probably not because it's only 1200 CP, but let's see. The opponent's going to go for a charge move here. We are going to shield it up. It is just an Ice Punch there. We should live that fairly comfortably, but now we're going to go for a Surf, and Surf will be taking out the Smoochum there. So Smoochum, not the most bulky Pokemon, but this is certainly the most bulky Pokemon here as they come in with an XL Purified Wobbuffet. We are going to actually shield this up. They do full send the return. Honestly, it still wouldn't do too much damage, and these counters are double resisted, non-stab, and one of the least attack weighted Pokemon ever, so they're doing absolutely nothing to us. We go for back-to-back Ominous Winds. The opponent catches the next one onto the Gardevoir, and they do get the snipe with the Charms before we make it to another charge move there, but we can come back in with the Slowking, go for the Surf. This will be enough damage to take out the Gardevoir, and now I'd like to see a swap into the Abra here. The opponent's going to go for a charge move. We actually have to let this go through. It's just a Mirror Coat. We could just go for the Surf there, but instead we swap into our Abra, and the opponent concedes the match as soon as they see the Abra there, and we take that game. Into the next game, another Malamar in the lead, so tricky lead for us, just going to stay in. Last time the opponent got very greedy with the energy, and we actually did win the lead, as well as winning a shield advantage. So let's see if the opponent is going to be as greedy this time around, or if they play it a lot safer. We go for the Surf, and then this time we actually swap into our Shadow Xatu. I'm not so sure about this play here, but we're going to shield up the foul play, and we should barely make it to the Ominous Wind, and Ominous Wind is going to be slightly less energy efficient, or actually quite considerably less energy efficient, but it does give us the chance to boost, and we do get that boost, so that does pay off, and now we can fully feint attack, farm them down. They come in with Galarian Rapidash. We throw just before they make it to the Body Slam, and Ominous Wind one-shots the Rapidash there as they come in with Galarian Slowking, and here we actually swap out before throwing a charge move, and before even building up to the charge move, so that's a little bit risky here, but we go for the Surf, grabbing the final shield, and now I think we just fully sacrifice the Abra here. They have to go for Shadow Ball to take us out. I mean, potentially they could just Surf bait us and farm us down, but they full send the Shadow Ball, and that allows us to make it to the last second Ominous Wind, and this will be taking out the Slowking, and we take that game. So into the next game, we see Slowking into Gardevoir, so very good lead for us here as the opponent should be swapping out, and they do eventually swap into a Water Gun Slowbro. Now these Water Guns are seriously chunking us. You can see we've basically done, or we've taken as much damage as we've dealt here, so we're going to overfarm in this matchup, go for the Aerial Ace here, and this will be enough damage to take them out from this range. So we grab the shield, and we actually make it to another Aerial Ace just before they get that Water Gun farm down. Excuse me there, and they do unfortunately farm us down, but it doesn't really matter too much. We're going to come in with the Slowking, can't really afford to shield this up. They do go for the Ice Beam, which does a little bit more damage than the Surf, and now they come back in with the Gardevoir. Unfortunately, this is where Shadow Ball would be so handy, but we're not running it, and I don't know why we swap into the Abra here. We do get the Charge Beam farm down, but we don't have enough health to get off a Charge Move. I think that's a definite misplay there, and unfortunately, once again, not running the Shadow Ball, so Surf, we have to settle for the Surf, and it's just not enough damage to take out the Victini there, and we do lose that game. So I think we would have comfortably won that if we were running Shadow Ball, but since we weren't, I think we needed to just let the Slowking go down there. That way Gardevoir would have been a lot lower and the farm down would have been a lot more comfortable. But into this game here, we see another Water Gun Slowking this time actually, as we go for the Aerial Ace just before they throw a charge move here, and the opponent actually just lets it go down. They now come in with their Galarian Rapidash, and I assume we're just going to let the Body Slam go through. It does take us out there, and now we can come back in with our Galarian Slowking. And we are very close to the Surf already, but we're going to farm up potentially as if we've got a Shadow Ball, and the opponent goes for another Body Slam, which we do tank, and then they swap into a Water Gun Slowbro, so running a double Water Gun backline. Quite interesting team here from the opponent. They go for the Surf, and we are going to overfarm in this matchup here, going for the Surf up against this Slowbro, and, Shadow Ball, and it one-shots the Slowbro. They come in with the Rapidash, but they get a massive Fairy Wind farm down. We do have 2 Surfs banked though. Once again, it would be so much better if we were running Shadow Ball, but hopefully the Surf from this range will be enough damage to take out the Rapidash, and it is barely enough there to take them out and take that game. Into the next game, we see a Metagross in the lead, so a fairly good matchup for us here. And once again, we're not running Shadow Ball, but Surf should be grabbing a shield anyways, so we're going to go for the Surf. This time we did farm up to the potential Shadow Ball, which I do agree with. That's definitely the play. And here we are going to actually let this move go through. Meteor Mash nearly one-shots us. They get the farm down. I'm not so sure about that, but we should be able to fully Feint Attack farm them down, so the opponent swaps into their Galarian Rapidash. We go straight for the Ominous Wind, and it does a lot of damage. They don't even throw a Body Slam. I'm not sure what the opponent was thinking there, but we're able to get the farm down, and now they come in with Cresselia. So we're going to go for an Ominous Wind in this matchup, and Ominous Wind will be doing, well, actually grabs the final shield. So now we're going to swap into our Abra, and we should be able to sweep from this range. I think Shadow Ball wouldn't quite take them out from full health, but I'm hoping from this range it will be enough damage to take out the Cresselia. And it is enough damage to take them out there. They come back in with the Metagross, and we will make it to another Shadow Ball, and this will easily be enough from this range to take out the Metagross, and we take that game. So going into the next game, we see a Alolan Raichu in the lead. So we lost against the last Alolan Raichu. So let's see what we can do different here. We're going to let the first move go through. They do full send the Wild Charge. We will make it to a Surf though, and this should be grabbing a shield as they drop their defense. They use the shield there, and we actually make it to a last second Surf. That's incredible for us, as this will take out the Alolan Raichu. So we won switch and gained a shield advantage once again. Incredible stuff from the Galarian Slowking. We now come in with our Xatu. They did farm up quite a bit of energy here, so we're going to shield, and it is just a Body Slam bait once again. This should just be another Body Slam though, so we will let it go through. We can now overfarm just a tiny bit in this matchup. Go for 3 more Feint Attacks before throwing, as it does take 4 for every Body Slam. We take out the Rapidash, and they come in with a Victini. We're going to go for an Aerial Ace. Not sure why we're going for the Aerial Ace here, but now we can swap into our Abra. We kind of needed them to shield that up there. That's really unfortunate, because now they can safely just shield the Shadow Ball. I think potentially we should have just not even thrown a charge move here, because now unfortunately we get off 1 less charge beam. They go for the V-Create. We get them incredibly low. They're going to debuff their defense once again, so it just depends. Can we live 1 quick attack? We're not quite able to do so, but we do at least get a tie. Into the next game, we see Xatu in the lead here, so some spice from the opponent as well, which is nice to see. We're going to let this move go through, as the opponent is going to go for the Aerial Ace, not doing too much damage, but then they swap and catch onto a Confusion user. It is an Oranguru, which you don't see too much. It does have Foul Play, which is quite nice for the meta, but just generally, Confusion isn't a good fast move for this meta, as it is resisted, it is slow, it is clunky. And here you can see we're actually able to fully Feint Attack, farm them all the way down, and now we can go for an Ominous Wind into this Pokemon coming back in, which is the Xatu of their own. We can go for another Ominous Wind, and from this range, Ominous Wind barely doesn't take them out, but we get the Feint Attack farm down, and they come in with a Lunatone, so hopefully we can live the Rock Throws on our Abra to make it to a Shadow Ball in time, and we do barely get there, and Shadow Ball will easily be enough damage once again to one-shot the Lunatone, and we take that game. So into the next game, we see Slowking into Bronzong. So fairly neutral matchup here, both hitting for super effective damage with the fast moves. Typically, of course, we would have that Shadow Ball. They're going to be running payback, so they do have a slight advantage as they call the bait there, which is really unfortunate. I'm sure if we were running Shadow Ball, we would just full send the Shadow Ball, but now we shield up the payback. We can overfarm quite considerably in this matchup. Surf still won't be enough damage to take them out from this range. The opponent knows that, but we do get the Hex farm down, which is massive. And now they come in with Victini, so all of this energy is going to be very useful as we go for another Surf, grabbing the shield, and we make it to another Surf. And this should either grab the shield or do a lot of damage. So we do grab both shields from the opponent. We swap into our Xatu, and I think we might just fully sacrifice it here. They do have a lot of energy. They full send the V-Create, and now we can come in with our Abra. And the opponent is going to swap straight away into their Claydol, and Claydol is a very bulky Pokemon. They might actually live the Shadow Ball from this range here. So Shadow Ball barely doesn't take them out, and because Charge Beam is double resisted there, we didn't quite do enough damage. And unfortunately, because of that Mud Slap damage there, they're able to Quick Attack, farm down both the Abra and the Slowking, and take that game. Into the next game, we see Galarian Rapidash in the lead, so pretty good lead for us unless they're running high horsepower, but the opponent throws a Body Slam straight away, so easy decision to just let it go through. And now they come in with a Claydol of their own. They're going to go for a Surf here, and Surf grabs the shield, and now Xatu completely walls this Claydol. Of course, I mean, we have to shield up the Shadow Ball, but then we might even be able to fully Feint Attack farm them down from this range. So let's see if we can get that full Feint Attack farm down, and we do get the farm down. We've got so much loaded energy, nearly 100 energy. We go straight for the Ominous Wind. Ominous Wind will be doing big damage to the Rapidash, and we actually get the farm down as well. And now they've got a Bruxish in the back. We're going to go for that Ominous Wind once again, grabbing the final shield. We barely didn't make it to the charge move. We should have just gone for the Aerial Ace there. I think some of these battles must have been after Niantic did revert the changes or revert the changes, I don't know. But yeah, so you can see Aerial Ace definitely did cost less energy in that battle, but the same energy in a lot of the other battles. But there we are, barely able to take that final game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.